I just heard the question asked. And whenever I hear it, it always reminds me of the first 5 years after my drowning was this overwhelming sensation of understanding. Eureka, of course. Because I knew they had told me something that affected me so staggeringly that even when I came back, that's what lingered. And when I came back, the memories kind of were, let's just say, behind a fuzzy safety shield because I was too young. And I think that was for my protection. And then it got clearer and clearer and clearer over the next 5 years as this feeling of course, faded. Because it kind of was like a really loud noise over a beautiful symphony. And I couldn't hear the symphony for that loud, outrageous noise of course. It was such a strong emotional feeling. When I try to talk about my near-death experience, for me, it's I always felt lied to, betrayed, uh, that it ruined my life, that it affected me psychologically in so many ways. Um, Understanding the world too well at too early of an age. And then, of course, an abusive stepfather doesn't help. Some things I can only explain in concepts that I can put into words. I know that the amount of knowledge I had was something that I understood was a temporary gift so that I could be spoken to and I could understand concepts for the questions I was asking. Because that's what I did. Just like that, one after another. I wanted to know everything. And as I asked, the answers were presented to me mentally in perfection, as if I had experienced that epiphany, that learning, that true understanding of something. And it came from other sentient minds. Didn't come from a data bank. It came from the other sentient minds that are there. Uh, Beings that lived billions of years ago. They lived for 50,000 years, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And all that information is available to you because nothing can be hidden there. When I talk about the circle of beings around that pillar of light that was God, there is no secrets there. And this is why you need to be cleansed first. That's the first process you go through after death. That I was allowed to remember. Why? I don't know. So I could tell you, I guess, leave good information. And don't end your own timeline. It's not permitted because you'll just end up in a loop. And you don't want to do that. I try to explain it as a crystal because when I learned about quasi crystals, it just kind of struck me that the design of this quasi crystal, it's like if you put mercury on aluminum and you watch this thing grow out of it. That's kind of how it is. Um, all of the constituent information was present at the moment the universe started inflating. It was already there. Every thought you were ever going to have, everything you were ever going to do, every being throughout the entire life of the universe, all that information was already there. And it's to this day still being broadcast into this reality from some unknown point, some infinite point. But that's my human mind, again, using the term infinite when I don't know what the fuck that is. First, there's the cleansing. That they allowed me to see. And basically they showed me my life and what I would have to go through for the people that I hurt in my life. And I understood clearly that it was part of the process. What I did know is how hard and how terrible and horrible the things that I was going to see and experience in my life were after my drowning. I felt like they tricked me. I always say that. Because when they turned me around, they said, well, you have to go back or you can't have this. And when they turned me around, they showed me God. Very unfair tactics as far as I'm concerned. Because having all knowledge and being completely covered in love and understanding and, love and understanding. There was no forgiveness there because there was no need for forgiveness. It was just love and understanding. It still was nothing compared to being with God. Nothing. And when you get there, the bad, terrible things are now just information. The horribleness is taken away and does not exist there. But someone else can live your life from birth till death to experience that in its form, in its horribleness. See? Just as you could experience living in a being who was a completely spiritual superintelligence. So leave good information. It's indelible. You can change anything, anytime. Again, that's what I was told. Even though you had made all these decisions and you helped create this quasi-crystal within your little time-space slice, because none of us have traveled in the same direction at the same speed, at the same trajectory. Therefore, all of us are separated by a small amount of time. Every sentient being in the universe, all separated by a slight amount of time. And no matter how small, it still exists. And you own that. That's your little individual time space of reality. And you're responsible for it. And it's created beforehand. But any of those, the tiniest little thing that you change in that can have the biggest effect down the line. I was allowed to know that, to remember that, because there was a lot they said I could remember and a lot more that they said I couldn't remember. Because I'm supposed to be doing this right now. The teaching not to fear death thing. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. These people that are like, oh, I had the adults. Oh, I had a near-death experience and now I don't fear death anymore. No, you fear death. Let me fucking kill you with a Zamboni, and that's going to be a little different than dying in a nuclear explosion. You know what I'm saying? Slowly roasting alive, burning alive in a fire is going to be a little bit different than having a building fall on you. That's why some people chose to jump from the towers. At that moment, their spiritual beings were in charge, and they did not fear death in the same way because basic instinct was overcome. And your basic instinct for survival will make you drown another person to try to get on top of them so you can breathe. That's how powerful that instinct is, and we all have it. Even these people that say, "Oh, I don't fear death anymore because I had a near-death experience." No, I never. I don't fear death either. I know what comes after. I always said it's not. It's not about dying. It's about how. I always thought I'd go quick and fast in a big flaming ball of fire. A little old for that now. Leave good information. It's important. It's important that there's more good than there is bad happening. I think that's how it runs. Although I don't know, I think that's what the universe does is it tries to over time separate the wheat from the chaff by having what I call the prophylactic galactic barrier. If you don't destroy yourself through your technological period, and you make it through that time, and you don't destroy your planet, and you don't destroy yourselves, that sooner or later your societies become united, you become one people, and you evolve into something positive where almost all of the information your species produces is positive. Zero murder rates, nobody steals, no one needs to lie, that kind of thing. A true race of intelligence. You know, I should have a t-shirt made with a circle and go all the way out to the very, 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 very edge of that circle and put a little arrow saying, "You are here," with the word God in the middle. I hate to say that, but yeah, we're pretty far away in the pecking order. But at least we made it, right? Try to be kind to one another this holiday season. The silly season when people feel like they need to be able to buy presents for people and things like that, and they can't afford it. It's just something that, people who want to sell shit came up with. It's better just to be in the presence of people that you love and to know that they're happy and cared for. That should make you the happiest person in the world. It's not about you, it's about everyone that you love. And if they're happy, then you should be pretty happy, which I am. So don't let the silly season, this bullshit get to you. It starts earlier every year, and it's a tradition that the kids like, and if kids like it, I'm all for it. Not about the adults, it's about the kids. It's like the tooth fairy and everything else. I see nothing wrong with it. It's just when I see a commercial on TV of an adult husband and wife buying new Denali trucks for each other, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Oh, here's your keys to the red one, honey. You know, that just really makes me want to fucking puke. Try to be good to one another. That's all it takes to make the world a better place. The xenophobia and the hate and the bigotry that I see in the United States is so fucking disappointing right now. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. That's what it is. I'm not mad. I'm hurt and disappointed that many of my fellow Americans are full of hate and ignorance. Completely tippy top peak of, you know, Dunning-Kruger, the peak of ignorance. And even if you're there, you know, you should try to be kinder to other people. I can tell you, on the inside, we're all the same. I don't care what color you are, or what shape your eyes are, or how tall you are, or anything else, what culture you have, anything. We're all the same. We're the human species. And from what I basically saw was there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us types where you barely make it to sentience and then fucking destroy yourselves. But you still make it to God because you're sentient. You're different. You can make choices by decision and not by instinct. And that is the difference between animal and human, between a consciousness that continues and a consciousness that does not. It doesn't mean that that information is destroyed. People get upset when I say your dog's not going to be in heaven. No, the information that made up your dog will be in heaven. No information is lost. It was all created beforehand. But it's different. You don't get, that dog does not get to experience the lives of all the other sentient beings who've lived. Only other sentient beings can do that. So be kind to one another, because everyone's going to know your gig when your last day is up. There won't be hiding anything from anyone. So start today.